The second area that I think that we might need to focus on, if we're taking this seriously, is to look at music, Nigerian music. Has anybody had a party recently where they did not have Nigerian music play and the party rocked? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. You know, 2003, when I started Terra Culture, I remember very well, I only knew one Nigerian artist. His name was something Naji. Do you know Naji? Yes. Naji was the only, I can tell you like 50 Nigerian musicians today. Our music rocks. We have become cultural imperialists all over the world through our music. Name them: Wizkid, D'banj. You can't outnumber me in this game. They're all there. These guys are putting us forward in a positive light. I mean, occasionally some of them can be funny with some of the images, but essentially in terms of creativity, we have amazing talent like Olamide, Nice. These incredible people have been able to fuse Fuji and hip-hop. I mean, I know you're church people, but really, you must have heard Olamide, his heart. Annually, Nigeria produces 550 albums. Record sales has tripled in the last 5 years. It is estimated that this industry will bring $1 billion to Nigeria by 2016. And live performances have reached over $105 million annually. All of us know of all the live performances that we see. In fact, some of our artists now, they're all over Zimbabwe, P-Square. The demand for them is incredible, you know? And you know, one interesting thing that has also happened with our music is that telecom companies, so we have them using ringtones. Amazing artists. So all of a sudden, you know, they're generating about $150 million from ringtones annually in this country. As a comparative analysis again, if you look at America, today, America's music industry I'm doing this analysis so that you guys can understand that if we were really wise, we will see that our potential lies in these things as opposed to this oil problem, you know? Now, I'm going to go to an area that I'm heavily biased about, theater. Can anyone guess how many theaters we have in Nigeria? It's a miracle. None. Terra Culture is the only space today that has theater performing every Sunday, and that is a box. It's not a theater. We just created the space and I said, we're going to do theater. It doesn't matter. The naysayer said it will die. 7 years later, we are where we are. Through that space, all the producers, all the directors, all the props guys, all the stage managers, all the actors that you see on stage today came from Terra Culture's box. It is incredible. That is to tell you one person, one institution can make a difference. So what we're focusing on in Terra Culture is every Sunday, it doesn't matter if it's 2 drums we have, we will do theater. And from that, Fela on Broadway came to Nigeria. And unlike most of us, I saw Fela on Broadway and I was angry. I was angry. How dare they? Fela is ours. Nobody in Nigeria invested in him. So therefore, the Americans took it and made it into a product. We have rich people in Nigeria. Why didn't they take it? They will not, because it's not oil. It's the truth. Let's be honest. So the Americans took it, packaged it, resold it back to us, and we all went in our droves and went to watch it. I was angry. So I said, I will start musicals. So we did Saro the musical. Of course, the first time, we fell flat on our faces. Who does a musical in a marble hall, Oriental? It's not catered to do musicals, period. But you know what? I have a thick skin, I don't care. I redid it, and I redid it till I got it right. Today, Saro the musical has been seen by over, this is record breaking, even though when you hear the figures compared to America, you'll be worried. Over 20,000 people have seen Saro the musical in Lagos. For theater in Nigeria, that's unprecedented. And more importantly, over a 3-week period. That's what it is. In the entirety, it is shown over 3 weeks. Why are we saying this? I want you to listen to me on this point. There are 40 Broadway theaters. 40 theaters on Broadway in New York, 40. That is minus the theaters that are off Broadway, right? There are 100 theaters in London City. Remember that London has 8.6 million inhabitants. Lagos has 20 million or thereabouts, depending on who you're talking to. You know, figures change in Nigeria. Lion King is a musical just like Saro the musical. The Lion King has grossed $6.2 billion since its inception. 6.2, one play. The same goes for Phantom of the Opera. It has grossed over $6 billion. I'm saying this to say that, imagine, just for a second, if Saro the musical had a permanent space, if in 3 weeks it made the money it put into it back 3 times over. Imagine if Saro the musical showed every day, year in, year out, for as long as The Lion King. Do you know how many jobs we would generate? Do you know how many dollars we will generate? This is pitiable because, unfortunately, every time we stage it, we unpack it and we put it back into a drawer. That is the reality of our existence. Theater can and has generated a lot of jobs and a lot of money. But even aside of that, one thing that is important for the youth to take away from this is that theater is a skill that you should learn. When you have a crowd, a sea of people like this, theater gives you the ability to be able to stand and talk with confidence. You learn public speaking by doing theater. You learn to stand erect, poise, courage. These are skills we don't teach in schools. Theater teaches you these skills. So I would encourage all of you, come to Theater at Terra and come and act and dance in case you want to learn how to do things like this. But focus more on the monetary aspect, because the reality is that if government were to create theaters for us, the only theater space that I know was purposely built in Nigeria is the National Arts Theatre. The National Arts Theatre's main bowl seats 5,000 people. It is beautiful. It has a collapsible stage. It has 2 cinemas with 600 and 700 seater capacities, respectively. Today, the National Theatre, which I drove past coming in here today, is a shadow of itself. When we want to stage plays, we go to the Muson Center. It seats 700 people. We struggle, and it is not a theater. What are we doing as a nation? It is lying there fallow, of no use to man or itself, as the case may be.